Hello, welcome to the locker room on another European night for Rangers. They were playing Liverpool, as some people took it, the Battle of Britain tonight. The game finished 2-0. Alexander, and also we had goals from Mo Salah from the penalty spot, and two brilliant goals as well. Joined by the one and only Grim Duffy. We're here until 11 o'clock. You know what to do by now. You can comment on the video below if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube as well. Hoping to be joined by Josh later on in the show as well. So, Glenn, what was your take on that 90 minutes tonight?
I thought it was very comfortable for Liverpool. Before the game, I wasn't sure what to expect because Liverpool's form has been very poor this season, as we all know. So I thought Rangers might have had a chance tonight. Liverpool essentially ended up with four up front with Diaz, Salah, Nunez, and Jota, and only two in midfield of Thiago and Henderson. And I thought Rangers could get in about that. But to be honest, right from the start, it was very, very comfortable. Getting that early goal after 5 minutes, a fantastic free kick from Trent. As soon as it left his boot, it was in. And from then on in, I thought Liverpool were going to go and score a few more. And to be fair, but for Alexander, but for McGregor, they might have done. But McGregor was outstanding first half.
Yeah.
Second half, pretty much the same pattern. Second half, Liverpool again really bossed again. There was no massive threat for Van Dijk and Matip. And we get the second goal from Salah's penalty. It was a penalty, the foul on Diaz. And again, you're thinking Liverpool could go and score another couple here. But to be fair to Rangers, they kept themselves in the game. And the way that Liverpool defence is just now, you kind of think, one chance. And they nearly got it right at the end, cleared off the line from Tsimikas. And you think, oh no, we're going to throw it away here. But I mean, it really was a very, very comfortable night for Liverpool. There wasn't, apart from the last 5 minutes, there wasn't really much in the game for Rangers. And but for McGregor, that could have been easily 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think you summed the game up perfectly there, Glenn. If it wasn't for McGregor, we could go on talking about 4 or 5-0 to Liverpool.
Oh, 100%. McGregor was outstanding. He knew he was going to be busy tonight, especially with Liverpool playing that front four, as I said, and he was having a personal battle with Nunez tonight. I don't know how many saves he made in the first half just from him, but Liverpool just couldn't get past McGregor. He was absolutely brilliant. And you've got to give Rangers credit, they hung in there. And if you look at it, for as much as Liverpool dominated the game and had plenty of chances, the only goals they scored were a free kick and a penalty. So you kind of think, well, Rangers haven't done that badly tonight. But overall, Liverpool were never really threatened that much, apart from the last 5 minutes, as I said. But apart from that, Rangers didn't really offer much going forward. I thought Morelos didn't really have a lot to go on, to be honest. But Rangers defended as well as they could. But Liverpool still created plenty of chances. And I say another day, but for McGregor, that's a lot more than 2-0.
And I suppose, like, when you watch a game of football like that, Graham, the first kind of real shot at goal, I don't know about you, but it kind of like sets the tone for the game. And like McGregor pulled off a brilliant save from Nunez right at the beginning of the game, and you're thinking, well, McGregor will be the busiest goalkeeper of the night. But I don't really know, but that kind of like set the tone for the game.
Yeah, I think it did. I mean, the last thing, when you go to Anfield, the one thing you don't want to do is concede early. And of course, Rangers do that after 5 minutes. But I mean, they kept themselves in the game. Liverpool were dominating the game. There's no doubt about that. But very early on that Liverpool are going to press you and they're going to have chances, and they did. And McGregor makes a couple of great saves from Nunez, who just couldn't score tonight. I mean, he had plenty of chances, but it was just one of these nights. Before the game, because I've got mates that know Sport Liverpool, they were saying, oh, Rangers will win this game tonight. And I know where they're coming from, because Liverpool have been really off form this season so far. And I kind of thought, I said on Friday, Rangers got a chance here because of the form of Liverpool. But Liverpool were very, very dominant pretty much all through the game. I mean, I haven't seen the stats, but I think Liverpool must have had about 20 attempts on goal. And just McGregor was just outstanding tonight.
Yeah, I mean, going by the first half, Rangers never had. They think it hard to get out, and I think like the only real half chance Rangers had was a free kick 10 minutes before half time, but that wasn't and I never really reflect the Liverpool defence.
No, I didn't. I mean, it was a poor free kick from Tavernier straight into the wall, and you need to be better than that when you're at Anfield. You've got to take a. Tavernier's usually great at set pieces, but this wasn't one of his better ones, and they didn't. They really didn't do enough going forward to trouble that Liverpool defence, who have been under pressure. And when they got the ball, they couldn't keep it. And you've got to keep the ball at Anfield. And when they got the ball turned over, they just couldn't keep it. I felt sorry for Lundstrom and Davis. They were having to do a lot of chasing, and it was hard work. All over the pitch, it was very hard work because Liverpool, as I keep saying, played with that front four. There was constant movement, constant link up, constant interchanging, and Rangers found it hard to deal with that. But they defended well. But I just keep going back to this fact that, but for McGregor, that could have been easily a cricket score tonight because McGregor was outstanding tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, looking at my notes here, Graham, as I say, there wasn't any real chances for Rangers in the first half. I think it was more, okay, the game was done and dusted by the time that Fasten Sakala came on and Kovac, but I felt as though that they were the only kind of players that kind of really threatened Liverpool a wee bit, and that was at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Matondo made a bit of a difference when he came on. That pace that he's got, and Sakala, Liverpool hadn't really had to deal with that during that game because Morelos is a very good player. There's no doubt about that, but he's not the quickest, so you can't play the ball over the top. And I think Matondo and Sakala gave Rangers that.
Yeah.
But, it was kind of too late by then. They were 2-0 down, and I think kind of Liverpool just sat off a little bit because the game was done. And they've got a massive game on Sunday against Arsenal, so the game was pretty much won. But it would have been interesting to see what would have happened had Matondo scored that goal. It's a really good run. And it's great defending from Tsimikas. So it would have been interesting to see what would have happened if they'd scored that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is a wrong night to speak about this, Graham, right? But it just shows you that Alan McGregor can still play at that level, even though he was in a losing team tonight. But he put in he put in a good shift for Rangers.
100%. McGregor was just absolutely brilliant. There was a couple of saves I didn't even know he'd made. There was one in the second half from Jota, and I thought Jota had put it over the bar, and it's not until you see it again. It's a very, very good save.
Yeah, it was a brilliant save, that. Yeah, I dig in behind the goal. You thought better, but yeah, I thought Jota kind of blasted it over the bar, but obviously it was a brilliant save.
Yeah, I mean, McGregor was just brilliant tonight. I mean, everything they had to deal with, he dealt with really well. There was a couple of shots from Núñez that I think were comfortable saves, but they still got to be made. They were a decent height for him, but he still got to make them. And there was one near the end of the first half, I think, where I think it's Salah plays Núñez in, and it's a really good effort, and it's a fantastic one-handed save from McGregor. So he was just great tonight. You've got to keep your concentration against the Liverpool team, and he did that tonight. And, if you look at Rangers' positives tonight, I think the fact that they have only lost 2-0 is probably a big positive for them because they could have easily lost by 5 or 6. So the fact they've kept themselves in the game, I think you've got to be looking at that thinking, you know what, we'll take that.
And now, do you think the Rangers' Champions League hopes are over for this season?
I would say so. They're on no points after 3 games. They've got the next game against Liverpool next week at Ibrox. But again, Ibrox will be packed. They'll be looking to try and get a bit of revenge, but it depends how Liverpool play. They've got a massive game on Sunday against Arsenal, so it's a huge task for Rangers, but it looks like it is going to be over. And it looks like maybe the only points they might get are against Ajax, who got hammered 6-1 tonight by Napoli, which was a surprise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think they've got to be looking at trying to get that third place and dropping out of the Conference or Europa League because right now, qualifying out this group looks virtually impossible just now.
I mean, the last thing Van Bronckhorst would said to the team is try and keep it tight for the first maybe 25, 30 minutes, but it just didn't happen tonight.
Yeah, Liverpool are vulnerable. They lost 3 goals to Brighton on Saturday, so they are vulnerable defensively, and this has been a problem all season. And I thought if Rangers actually, can keep themselves in the game, get the Anfield crowds a little bit edgy, they might have a chance to sneak something. But 5 minutes in, and Trent, it's a wonderful free kick. But that's what Trent does. He's brilliant at that, and it's a brilliant free kick. And at that point, you're thinking Liverpool have the heads up, they're 1-0 up, 5 minutes on the clock, the crowd's behind them. This could be a hammering tonight. So they managed to keep themselves in the game. So fair play to them.
I mean, even though we were talking about McGregor, but he wasn't. I mean, you could put about 3 goalkeepers in there, Graham, and nobody could be saving that goal from Alexander, because that was a brilliant strike.
To be honest, I'm used to seeing Alexander Arnold do that. So when he came up, I thought this is going in. If he gets this right, this is going in. And it was a brilliant free kick. And McGregor, he tries to dive for it, but he's nowhere near it. As you said, you could have stuck 2 or 3 keepers and they're not saving that. It's a brilliant technique and a brilliant free kick. And as I say, at that point, you're thinking this really could be hammering here. But they managed to keep themselves in the game, and they have McGregor to thank for that. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he got man of the match tonight, because he wouldn't have deserved it if he did.
You're listening to Indie Live regular and watching us on Independence Live at the Locker Room Champions League special with me, Michael, and Graham until 11 o'clock. Don't forget, we'll be on tomorrow night for the Celtic game against RB Leipzig, and also another big game on Thursday night for Graham's second team, or maybe first team, or Hearts. They're playing Florentina at Tynecastle, so we'll be on tomorrow night, Thursday night as well. Incidentally, there was a small matter of a Premiership game tonight. Ross County, Motherwell went up to Ross County and beat them by 5 goals to 0. Graham, that's a good result, and I'm sure I heard that Van Veen, the man that we've been slagging off in the show for a few weeks, scored a hat-trick. So what do we know?
He did. I genuinely didn't see that result coming. We spoke on, I think it was Sunday, about the fact that going up to the Highlands is a difficult game. Clearly not for Motherwell. I mean, that's an absolute hammering. And yeah, Van Veen got a hat-trick. Efford got a goal, and Callum Slattery. It was 1-0 at half-time. And then Motherwell just gone absolutely mental in the second half. And that puts Motherwell up to 6 in the league. Hearts now dropped down to 7. So Motherwell are sneaking up in the table. So, I mean, that's an incredible result. I don't think anybody could have expected that.
It would be interesting to see when was the last team went up to Ross County and won by 5 goals to 0. I can't remember, Graham, because like even Hearts, Celtic, Rangers always struggle up there at Dingwall, and Motherwell went up there and won 5-0.
Yeah, I mean that's a real shock, and I think Malky Mackay will be gutted about that. But maybe it's just one of these poor nights for Ross County. But for Motherwell, what a result that is, honestly. To go up there, as you said, I don't think anyone's gone up there and put 5 goals past Ross County. So that's a huge result, massive result for Motherwell.
Yeah, no, and Kilmarnock's got a game tomorrow night. We'll keep you up to date with that. In fact, the game will be just starting when we're on air tomorrow night as well. Kilmarnock is at home to Aberdeen, Graham, tomorrow night, isn't it? Yeah.
I can tell you because I got the fixtures up here. They are at home to St Johnstone tomorrow.
I knew it was right, even though I said the wrong team. But yeah, so don't forget you can comment on anything that me and Graham's talking about. We're trying to get Josh on before 11 o'clock. We're on Facebook Live and YouTube. Comment on the videos below, and you can have your say on the game to 11 o'clock tonight. Graham, and I know that Rangers, Liverpool was miles ahead tonight, but would it be stupid for me to say that McGregor got the man of the match because he saved Rangers quite a lot tonight?
100%. I mean, as I say, I've not seen the stats, but he must have made probably about at least 8 or 9 really big saves tonight. So he was a massive, massive player, and definitely man of the match for me on a Rangers side. And I think, Rangers did work hard tonight, and they had to, because Liverpool put a lot of pressure on them. But just going forward, Rangers didn't do enough, and they've got to do more at Ibrox next week. I think with that crowd behind them, they've got a chance, but it's such a huge game. If Rangers can get 3 points at Ibrox next week, what a lift that would give Rangers, the whole place, and maybe even their Champions League chances if they could take 3 points off Liverpool next week. But they've got to be better than they were tonight on the ball, because when they did get the ball, they didn't really offer too much going forward apart from that last 5 minutes.
Who was your obviously we were talking about man of the match. Who was your man of the match for Liverpool, Kim?
Luis Diaz. I thought he was brilliant all the way through the game. His pace, his energy, his desire. What I like about Diaz is every time he gets on the ball, his first thought is head down and just drive at folk. And that's what you want to see from a wide player. And he did that all night. And he wins the penalty. He does really well to get in the box. It's a challenge that the guy doesn't need to make, but he makes it. And I just thought Diaz was great all night tonight. He's got such a willingness to work, and he's probably been one of Liverpool's shining lights this season. He never ever stops. He always gives 110%. And for me, I thought Diaz was absolutely fantastic tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely. I thought it was, even though that, I don't know if you saw it in the news the other week, Graham, that it's between Liverpool and Glasgow to get the Eurovision Song Contest. Well, it was between Glasgow and Liverpool tonight, and Liverpool won it by 2 goals to 0. I don't know if you saw what I did. I was trying to, yeah. I'll just move on after that comment, Glenn. Sorry about that. Yeah. So very impressed by Liverpool tonight, and they would need that, Graham, because as you say, they get beat the weekend, but they've not been up to their usual standard over the past few weeks.
No, I think last season we played in every game we could play. We were in every final. We played a lot of games last season. And I think it's starting to take his toll right now. Start of the season, we drew against Fulham 2-2. And you're thinking, right, that's a poor result, but we've got plenty of games to come. And we've just been really poor. We got beat by Man United. We drew with Brighton last week. Our only real positive was hammering Bournemouth 9-0, but we've never really replicated that. So I think tonight was huge. I think we lose. Man City just looking at a different planet at the moment with Erling Haaland up front. And to be fair, Arsenal look decent as well. So I think we're really fighting for probably top 4. So tonight was a huge victory. As I said, I wasn't sure what to expect tonight because we have been so poor, especially defensively. And apart from that last 5 minutes, we weren't really troubled defensively. And that'll probably frustrate Van Bronckhorst a bit. But Liverpool looked better tonight. But now we need to build on that. We've got a massive game against Arsenal on Sunday, which is why I think he took off the likes of Nunez, and he took off Trent, and he took off Thiago, and he took off Henderson. So he made a lot of changes tonight. So we need to now build on that. But tonight was a good result, a good performance, and hopefully we're going to be back on track very soon.
Yeah, good thinking back to the chances Van Dijk had a free header in the first half as well, Graham.
To be honest, our set piece delivery wasn't great tonight. We had plenty of corners and didn't make the most of them. But even second half, Matip heads one wide when he really should score to make it 3-0. So that was a bit of a frustration that we didn't use our height advantage in there, because Van Dijk and Matip are absolutely huge, and we didn't really use that. So there were plenty of chances tonight from set pieces, but we didn't take them. But the most important thing is that we won the game, and we've given ourselves a really good chance to qualify for the group now, which I think, fingers crossed, we will. But we've got a massive, massive couple of games to come up against Arsenal and Rangers next week. And I would expect at Ibrox, Rangers to be a lot better on the ball than they were tonight.
Were you expecting it to be so... I'm going to say this before Josh comes on, but were you expecting it to be so one-way tonight, Graham?
No, I wasn't. I genuinely didn't. As I said, my mates and that were teasing me today about thinking Rangers might get a result tonight. And I thought Rangers had a chance tonight if they really attacked Liverpool, because we're very vulnerable defensively. So I wasn't sure what to expect tonight. And I didn't expect it to be quite as comfortable as that. As I said, apart from the last probably 5 minutes Rangers came into the game, there wasn't really much for Liverpool to deal with. I thought Van Dijk and Matip were very comfortable. I thought Simicast at left back was really good, and Alisson hasn't really had much to do tonight, to be honest. And that's probably how comfortable it was that Alisson's not really been tested.
I saw a lot of Rangers fans on Twitter, and I know you mentioned it early on, Graham, about they wanted Maredes to start in front of Kovacs, and I don't know why they come up with that, because Kovacs scored 2 goals at the weekend, but Maredes done nothing. Well, to be fair, he never got a lot of service tonight, but in saying that, when Kovacs came on, he kind of threatened Liverpool a wee bit, but it was a bit late on in the game.
Yeah, I was surprised that Trolax didn't start. He's been in great form, and having scored 2 against Hearts at the weekend, I thought he would start. So I was surprised to see Morelos start, but he didn't really get a lot of service. I mean, there wasn't a lot for him to go on. I thought Van Dijk and Matip were very, very comfortable, and I thought Rangers probably didn't really play to their strength. I mean, pretty much every ball that Morelos got was in the air. He's not going to win that against guys like Van Dijk and Matip. You've got to get the ball on the ground and let them fight and battle for it. They didn't do that tonight. So that was a bit of a disappointment. And even, Ryan Kent didn't really offer too much going forward. I thought he was quite disappointing tonight going back to Anfield, but it was just Liverpool were just so comfortable and so dominant that, we stifled them a lot. And that front four, I thought they caused a lot of problems all night, especially Núñez and, as I said, Diaz as well. But Liverpool, for me, were so dominant, and Rangers, for me, going forward, just didn't offer enough.
If you were a Rangers fan, would you be a bit disappointed how, okay, first and foremost, you get beat, but also the performance that they put in as well? Oops, I'm afraid that we've lost Mr. Duffy. He might be celebrating, I'm not very sure. But yeah, just to remind you again that Liverpool won 2-0. Give us your thoughts after the game. Oh no, he's back.
Don't know what's going on with this screen here.
Yeah, he's back. He's back. So no, I was just saying, Graham, if you were a Rangers fan, would you be a bit disappointed? Not only could get beat, but the manner of the performance as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably most Rangers fans thought they would lose, but it's the way that, it's the way you get beat at times. And I think because they didn't offer enough going forward, that will be a bit of a letdown. When you go to Anfield, you're going to be up against it. But as I said, the vulnerability of Liverpool defensively, and Rangers didn't do enough to get a reaction out of that. Trent, I'm a massive fan of Trent going forward, but defensively, I've never really rated him. And I don't think Ryan Kent did enough to trouble him tonight. So, yeah, it's got to be a bit of frustration that they didn't test Liverpool. And as I say, Alisson has pretty much had nothing to do, especially first half. I think he's probably taken a couple of pass backs, and that's about it. Second half, again, nothing really major. So, yeah, I think Rangers are a bit disappointed they've not offered more going forward, I think.
And would you be a bit concerned about, okay, I'm including Hearts in this one, but Hearts were pretty poor at the weekend, as Graham, but would you be a bit concerned if you were a Rangers fan, because you played Celtic dominated the game, you played Hearts, okay, Hearts were pretty poor that day, Rangers dominated the game, and I know that Liverpool's right in a different level to like the Premiership teams as well, but so that's kind of like 3 big games they've actually played. No disrespect to any of the other teams in the Premiership, but they haven't put really down a marker or a good performance apart from Hearts. Sorry to say, Graham.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Rangers have been fantastic this season. I think they've played well in spells. Saturday was a massive disappointment for Hearts. We were very poor, but that's just normal against Celtic and Rangers. We're always usually poor. And having Cameron Devlin sent off didn't help, but the game was done at 2-0. We didn't do enough to cause Rangers problems. And tonight, it was a step up. And, somebody actually put it on Twitter, I think, earlier on, that this game showed that Rangers are not prepared for the Champions League. And it's a difficult group, let's be honest. Napoli, Liverpool and Ajax, that's a difficult group to get out of. I think when the draw was made, I think we even said Rangers might struggle in this group, and it's showing. 3 games they've not won, and again tonight they didn't offer anything until the last 5 minutes. But at that point, as I said, Liverpool made a lot of changes. The game was pretty much done, and it was just a disappointing night for Rangers tonight. But that is a step up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Would you be a bit concerned as well that even the likes of Ryan Kent, okay, he may get a run in the first half, Graham, but apart from that, I don't think he saw any of the ball.
No, I didn't. I don't think Rangers got on the ball enough. But as I said, they couldn't. When they had the ball, they couldn't keep it. They were giving it away. Liverpool were pressing high, and they just kept giving it away. Diogo Jota was dropping into space and really causing Rangers problems. And Lundstram and Davis just couldn't get on the ball. They couldn't get. There was no real passage of play. There was no real kind of keep the ball for 5-10 minutes. They just couldn't do it. And because of that, Ryan Kent really didn't see enough of the ball. And the same on the other side as well. There wasn't a lot of service coming. And I kind of felt a bit sorry for Morelos tonight because he was up against it against 2 massive defenders, as I say. And he didn't really have a lot of service, so I kind of felt sorry for him. Which is why I thought that Cholak might start tonight. But yeah, Ryan Kent, when he did get the ball, if I'm a Rangers fan, I'm saying, right, Kent, when he gets the ball, take Alexander Arnold on, because Alexander Arnold does not like going the other way defensively. And he didn't really do that tonight for me.
No. Do you think that Rangers will recover for a game on Saturday against St Mirren at home, and then Wednesday night at Ibrox against Liverpool again?
Yeah, I think you've got to take it one game at a time. The St Mirren game is obviously going to be a big game. Rangers were top for a couple of hours last week until Celtic won, so they'll know they're going to be up against a difficult game against St Mirren, because St Mirren, they're capable of winning there at Ibrox. I'm not saying they will, but they're capable. So it's going to be a difficult test. And then, I think all they need, to be honest, all you're looking for there is 3 points from Rangers. That's all they'd be caring about. And then you've got that massive game against Liverpool next week. And I think next week in front of that Ibrox crowd, it'll be a massive, massive night. And if they can have a go, they'll need to play on the front foot because they need to get the points. Let's be honest.
Well, I think we're having a few technical hiccups there by Graham. I think, but I can give you a couple quotes from Alexander Arnold that he spoke to BT Sport after the game, and they were asking him about a free kick, and he says, "I don't normally score them from that side. I normally score them from the other side of the pitch, but I'm happy with the goal." So that's Alexander Arnold saying that. We will try and get quotes from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and the Liverpool boss after the game as well. And as you know, Graham has left me, so I'm now on my own. So if you want to comment on anything I'm talking about tonight, or we are talking about tonight, we're here until 11 o'clock on the locker room. And don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow night as well with the Celtic game against RB Leipzig. We're on at 8 o'clock on Independent Live and Indie Live Radio. And then again on Thursday night for the game at Tynecastle between Hearts and Fiorentina, and we'll be on at 10 o'clock. If you just joined us, Graham's back now. If you just joined us, Rangers get beat by 2 goals to 0 tonight against Liverpool. Graham, is everything okay now?
Yeah, I've moved closer to my Wi-Fi to see if that makes a difference.
Ah, right, okay, yeah. Well, no, I was just saying before you went away to the bathroom and powder your nose, because I presume that's where you were. I got a quote there from Alexander Arnold after the game, and they said to BT Sport that he was speaking about his free kick, and he says, "I don't normally score them from that side. I normally score from the other side of the pitch." But I suppose it doesn't matter where you shoot from the moon, long as you score, long as you score the goal.
100%. I mean, Trent is absolutely brilliant at that. He's one of the best in the world at taking free kicks like that. And as I say, I think when he stepped up, I thought, if he gets us on target, this is in. Because it's difficult for any keeper to save it. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful strike. And it set Liverpool on the way to what was, in the end, a very comfortable performance. But that first goal is it's just brilliant from Trent. And he is honestly, he's superb at that. He really is.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, as I said, you can put two or three goalkeepers in the game. Even me and you, okay, I wouldn't go that far, but we were gonna stop that. Maybe not. No, maybe my fat belly would get in the way, but I'm not very sure about that one. Rangers coming back up the road against Midland on Saturday. They would have to pick up very quickly and forget about that game. I know it's easy for us to say it tonight, and obviously you'll be very happy, but they've got a big game on Saturday before they can turn the attention back to Hearts and um, before they turn their kids back to Liverpool, and that's Wednesday night.
Yeah, they will. I mean, St Mirren, they're a far better team than I expected. When they're sitting third in the league, so they'll go Ibrox, and it's a kind of, I don't like using the words, but I will say it, it's a free hit for St Mirren. I think they will think that they're going to beat Ibrox, but the way they're played just now, that's not a foregone conclusion. So there's every chance that Mirren can go there and get something, but I just think Rangers will be a lot better on Saturday, and I think. St Mirren will give it a difficult test, but I just think Rangers will be too strong for them in the end.
Good evening to Josh. He is back in now. I was going to say that you've actually come back from Liverpool dead early, but you were in at Liverpool, so that's not fun at all. So 2-0 tonight, Josh. What was your take on the 90 minutes?
Sorry for the late arrival, lads. I had to walk back for the pub there in the pouring rain after I found out my lift home had been drinking. But anyway, so I mean, disappointing. Fact is, though, they only scored 2 goals. They only scored 2 goals, neither of which was from open play. Alan McGregor was spectacular, but a team's made up of 11 players. The goalkeeper's one of them. So nobody puts the same kind of caveat around a performance if a striker has an incredible game. If a goalkeeper has an incredible game, it's just as I suppose it's just as legitimate as if a striker or a midfielder has a brilliant game. We weren't pumped. We lost 2-0. Neither goal came from open play. It was better again, I thought, but I just, that being said, though, I don't think really at any point until the last 10 minutes when we went to a back four that we laid a glove on Liverpool at all. I thought that a lot of the time we were chasing the ball. I thought that Liverpool were just passing it about, zinging it about. I've got to be honest and say I don't know if the tactics were correct. I think we probably gave them too much respect. I don't think they're I'm saying they were pinging about and zinging it about and all that, but I don't know if a product of that was the fact that we were so deep and we were defending so strongly and, with so many players, behind the ball. So disappointing to lose 2-0. We'll see how we do against them next week. I hope we don't give them that much respect next week. And I'd like to see us go out with a back four next week.
I saw a lot of Rangers fans for the game, Josh, and they were saying that they wanted Morelos to start the game instead of Kovac, and I was a bit surprised about that because Kovac scored 2 goals at the weekend at Castle. And me and Glenn was just talking there before he came on, and even though the game was over, when Kovac came on in fashion, Sakala came on, but I felt as though that he kind of gave Liverpool not a few problems, but like it was looking very dangerous.
He caused a couple of problems, but to be honest, I think part of that is, and I love Cholak, but I think part of that's probably down to the fact that we did go to the back four for the last 10 minutes, and we did pose threats going forward at that point. I wanted Morelos to start tonight, because I think that, no matter the fact that Cholak has been on incredible form and he scored so many goals already, he, out of the two strikers, or at their absolute best, and who knows, maybe we haven't seen Cholak at his absolute best yet, but at their absolute best, Morelos is, again, I've said it before on this show, I think he's the better player. I think he's the best striker in Scotland when, he's playing at 100%. I think he's unplayable. He was rubbish tonight. He was absolutely rubbish. And I don't know whether that was the product of the formation, because it wasn't, there really wasn't anything in the attack. I thought Tillman was terrible. It was a really, really poor performance from him. I thought Kent was okay in spells, but it's typical Ryan Kent. He does something incredible. Like, I think it was midway through the first half, he done this wee spin on Jordan Henderson. It was absolutely outstanding. And then he just loses it and runs it into play. And this is what he does all the time, Kent, in the big stage anyway. He does something outstanding, and then he thinks to himself, right, what next? And he ends up losing the ball. So, yeah, I thought there were big performances in the team. McGregor, Goldson, King, even though he gave away the pen, I thought was brilliant. And what a performance for him. 19, 20-year-old, and he's going in away to Anfield in the Champions League, and the penalty is just one of those things. I'm not going to slate him too much. So, but there was also poor performances. Morelos was one of them, but definitely. Would the score have been any different if we'd started with the five at the back and Cholak up top? I'm not convinced.
Just looking at the maths statistics here, Liverpool are 23 shots on target to Rangers 6. The possession, Liverpool won that again. You would be surprised to see 64 to 35. Liverpool had 13 corners. Rangers had 1, and Liverpool had 7 fouls, and Rangers won 6. So, Josh, you were talking there about like it's a team gaming and all that, but like we were talking before you came on here about McGregor. I mean, even though Rangers got beat tonight, but is it a bit stupid for me to say that McGregor got the man of the match for Rangers? And the reason why I'm saying that is because, and I know you. I know you're laughing at that, but because if it wasn't for McGregor, I could have been 4 or 5, or maybe more.
There's something a wee bit. I think to myself, when Al McGregor left Rangers the first time, I think to myself about the top teams in England that could have really done with a goalkeeper at that point. I think about Arsenal, Tottenham, Everton at that point. I think about even Chelsea, Man City. I think Man City had Joe Hart at that time when his star was high. But I think about all the top teams in England, and I think to myself, how the hell did Al McGregor not end up somewhere a lot bigger than Hull? That always perplexes me because he's absolutely world class. He's 40, and he's putting out those performances. What kind of keeper do you know? And apart from Jean-Louis Buffon or Edwin van der Sar, what kind of keeper do you know that puts out a performance like that at 40 in the Champions League? It's crazy.
Yeah, we were just talking about that one, weren't we, Graham?
Yeah, I mean, McGregor was outstanding tonight, but he's an exceptional goalkeeper. We all know that, and he had to be tonight. He pulled off some great saves tonight. But a couple of the players that Josh mentioned there, I said earlier, I felt sorry for Morelos tonight because the ball was getting punted at him, and you're up against guys like Van Dijk and Matip.
Yeah.
He's not gonna win that. You've got to get the ball on the deck and let him fight and battle for it. And
Yeah.
I think for me, Rangers didn't really get the tactics right tonight. I did feel sorry for Morelos tonight because he was up against it. And I think the other guy as well, I think Marek Tillman looked miles out his depth tonight. And I've not really seen a lot of Tillman yet that's particularly impressive. Listen, you got Anfield, it's a difficult game, but I thought he was miles off the pace tonight. And again, Ryan Kent, I said earlier, Trent is absolutely brilliant going forward, but he's not great defensively. And I think that was a chance tonight for Ryan Kent to really get on the ball and really run at Trent and take him on. And he didn't really do that tonight for me.
I agree with you there, Graham. I think that one of the big problems tonight was that the ball was getting punted up a lot to Morelos, and he was winning some of them. He was getting, he's getting his chest in, and he's laying it off to, the Tillmans and the Kents. But like you said, his strength is getting it into feet and getting his back to his strikers and being able to roll them because he's so powerful. And being honest, I think I know Virgil van Dijk's one of the best defenders in the world, but I just think that Morelos has got that sheer power that he could maybe not outmuscle, but he would certainly be able to challenge Van Dijk, or the other centre back's name escapes me. Was it Matip?
Joe Matip,
yeah. I think he's certainly in his own kind of circumstances, when the circumstances suit him, when the ball's on the deck, he can get he can get the ball into his feet, and he can almost kind of that kind of John McGinn thing of get his back to them and get his bum into them and use his power to roll them, or even just hold up the play to involve Kent's and Tillman's. He didn't do that enough. The ball was just getting punted up, as you say. He was finding it difficult to win the balls against them, and it would just go back into play for another Liverpool attack. I agree with you, Tillman, miles off it, utterly miles off. He thought he was playing a game of five-a-sides, by the way. A lot of the time, it was just how many. I actually lost count of how many utter hospital passes he gave. Actually, you're saying you felt bad for Morelos, Graham. I felt bad for James Tavernier and John Lundstrom, who were often had to receive the ball from Tillman in a position of danger, and it's then on them who they end up putting it for a throw or putting it straight back to Liverpool. But it's Tillman's fault, and that was very frustrating. Conversely, I think Tillman's been pretty good this season, but he's definitely not a winger. And he's, it's a bit of a cliche, but he's definitely looked better against the easier teams. Your Ross Counties and your St Mirrens and all that. He's looked better in the easier games, so yet to show on the big stage.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I'm just trying to get quotes off of Gio there, and stuff, but we'll get that before the end of the show, because there's comments coming out now by the players and the managers as well. Josh, do you think that Gio Van Bronckhorst would have said to the team, before you go out tonight, guys, keep it tight for the first 20 minutes, half an hour, but just didn't happen that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might have done. Who knows what he said to them? But one thing I did notice is that when they were getting it in Liverpool's half, they weren't pressing at all. And then when the defence, when they were on the defensive phases in their half, the press was turning on. I don't know if that was a tactic. I do think Gio got it. I got the tactics wrong. But I think, I think we could have been better all round in terms of the performance. It's hard to say because I think Gio is so tactically astute. I think next week ironically, I think next week you will see a different Rangers, not just because it's home, because I think Gio's had a week to eye them up, and I think he might make a couple of wee tweaks next week, and we might see a different Rangers play Liverpool. But we'll need to see. We'll need to wait and see how that goes. But just a disappointing performance all round. I think that. I think that the fact that we conceded a goal so early on was disappointing, right? But it wasn't. I stress this again. Neither goal was for open play, right? We did not concede a goal from open play. We conceded who knows if I think it was it the boy Diogo Jota? No, it wasn't. It was the other boy that King brought down.
Diaz.
Yeah, was it Diaz? Right, aye, Diaz. He brought Diaz down. Who knows if he would have scored that or not? He probably would have, right? But you never know him, and he might have skied it. So there's that, and the free kick. The free kick is what it is. McGregor's not got much chance. So it was disappointing, all round. But I'm not sitting here thinking we were utterly out footballed. I think we did not turn up to that game. I don't think we were particularly good. I don't think Liverpool were really that brilliant. They again 2 goals, not in open play. Wasn't overly impressed with them.
Gives a quote there from Gio, and speaking to Des on BT Sport after the game, he said they have the quality to play with high speed and quick passing. Very disappointing in how we can cope with that one. Try and get more quotes from Gio in the Liverpool camp before we go off air in about 10 minutes time tonight. So. Is that a fair assessment that Gio Van Bronckhorst is saying there?
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, fair enough. They can play with pace. They can move it about quick. I'll give you another quote for the night, actually. At post-match, they were talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold. And Rio Ferdinand, our good mate Rio Ferdinand, came out with Trent Alexander-Arnold, said, we've never ever seen these numbers from a fullback ever, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I've actually just heard what I've heard. I'm thinking about James Tavernier and the fact he's scored like 86 goals. He's maybe got like 120 assists for Rangers. So he's got a better ratio than Trent Alexander-Arnold. And Rio Ferdinand's going on about we've never ever seen this from a fullback. I think the coverage at Silverite was brutal. I mean, the first game an English team was in featuring Rangers, and Daryl Curry was punted like yesterday's newspaper. It was pretty poor.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Daryl Curry, as you say, it was punted or if he's still not well, because I don't know if you know, but the game against Ireland on the Saturday night. It was basically it was Emma Dogs at furnished a program because Daryl Curry never went away for Curry. He gets sent home that night not well, and he's not been seen since that night. So I don't know if he's not well and stuff like that. But yeah, I get your point. And like me and Graham speaks about this very often on the show, especially the Friday show, and Graham's got a wee smile on his face now, because I'm going to say that, it's a bit of snobbery about kind of the English football. They talk that up and they think that this wee stupid league up here in Scotland where we've got Rangers and Celtic, or, it's just a wee kick about in the park.
To be honest, I turn the sound down when it's like BT or Sky, because half the pundits are just useless. I mean, Steve McManaman was a fantastic player, but as a pundit, he's awful. Michael Owen in the studio offers absolutely nothing. And then again, we started on Robbie Savage on a BT Sport on a Saturday. That's just pointless, that. So I tend to turn the TV down when I'm watching games, just because I can't even bother listening to the commentary, because it's, as Josh has said, it's brutal.
Brutal. Aye, absolutely brutal. And yeah, I mean McManaman was awful. Fair play if Darryl Curry was off work, but we were. I think the thing about it is there are a lot of little microaggressions that occur. I think one particular moment for me was Steve McManaman saying to Kevin Thompson when Antonio Cholak come on. He said something like. So Kevin, how has this new signing been for Rangers? And on the surface, that might just be a legitimate question, right? But it's said with a subtle hint of arrogance and a subtle hint of just that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Patronising, kind of subtle patronising of our game, as if this new, he's. I mean, look, you know how good he's been, mate. He's been really good. So it's just that kind of thing, and that's for me. Those little microaggressions really just get at me. Poor coverage, but it's. I mean, it's to be expected when one of the big English teams is your draw. I hope it's not the same next week when it's Ibrox.
The one thing I can't stand about BT Sport whenever I watch it is the fact that after like a decision on the TV, they always bring in Peter Walton, who just agrees with what the referee's done. It's like, why are you bringing him in? What is the point in that? He's useless. I could do that job quite easily.
No, but the thing I love about that, Graham, right, is when he comes in, they say, "Oh yeah, let's go to Peter Walton," because we're not very sure. And then when they come back, they're like, "Aye, yeah, we totally agree with you, Graham. We totally agree with you. You're 100% right." And I'm like,
It's like I can't remember what I was watching last week, but they went to it was like a penalty. It was a pretty clear penalty, and they went to Peter. Let's get Peter Walton's decision. Peter, what did you think? It's a penalty. Of course, it's a penalty. You can see it quite clearly. It's a penalty. What are you asking him for? Ask us. That's honestly, that's my nothing.
We've got a quote here from Jurgen Klopp after the game. Basically, told BT Sport that it was excellent. That's what we were needing tonight. A good format. We had formation, so that we had to change things. We had plenty of chances. Imagine if we took more of them. Really good game. Very important win for us. But I think he's right, Graham. But as we keep going back to it, if it wasn't for Aaron McGregor, it would have been 4 or 5 easy tonight. Sorry, Josh, but
I think Jurgen did change it tonight because he essentially, as I said at the start, he played 4 up front because he played Diaz, Jota, Salah, and Nunes. And what Liverpool did was, if you noticed a few times in the first half, especially, Diogo Jota kept dropping off and dropping into that space, and Rangers didn't know which player to pick him up. So he was causing a lot of problems tonight. And, as I said at the start as well, getting that early goal from Trent's free kick, it's a great free kick. And you're thinking Liverpool could go win this comfortably now. And Rangers did defend really well. Liverpool, had plenty of chances. McGregor was great. But I just thought, as I said during the show earlier on, that when Rangers got the ball, they didn't keep it long enough. They didn't have a spell of possession that would have let them get back into the game. And that's a massive disappointment, I think, for Rangers. I think this Liverpool defence is vulnerable, and Rangers didn't do enough to test them until the last 5-10 minutes. And as I say, if Matondo scores late on when Tsimikas puts it over the bar, you could be looking at a very, very frantic last 5 minutes. So, Liverpool did dominate the game, but I don't think we were great tonight. Let's be honest, we weren't great, but we had plenty of chances. But when Rangers got the ball, they didn't do enough with it, and I think that needs to be. I think Rangers will be different next week at Ibrox, 100%. I think with that crowd behind them, playing on the front foot, I think it'll be a different game next week.
Another quote here from Jurgen Klopp, and I think he's getting a wee dig at VAR here, right? Because it says 2 set pieces as well. I love this. It means that you don't have to wait for VAR. You've got to have a wee chuckle at that, meaning that you've got to wait ages for VAR, and But we've got that to look forward to, Josh, when that comes into Scottish football. We'll need not a 2-hour show, a 5-hour show, I think.
I'll be interesting to see how it goes when VAR comes into Scottish football, let me tell you. And I think we could have been doing with VAR, doing us a wee favour the night for a couple of the decisions, but no dice, you know what I mean? I'm dreading VAR coming into Scottish football, I really am. Because it's just going to be, I mean, you just know it's going to make everything more of a shambles. Yeah, it's just going to be absolute chaos, and we're just going to get, we're not going to get refs making wrong decisions. We're going to get, honestly, I think it's just going to be chaos.
Yeah,
it's coming in the next few weeks as well, so that's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work and what the first game's going to be, because VAR was brought in England to make things better, and yet you're still getting so many controversial decisions. So I've always said this: VAR is not the issue; it's the folk that use it, and that's my worry. They're going to make a mess of it. There's no doubt about that.
And the time it takes as well, because you see it in other sports. It's fast. You're lucky if it's maybe like 2 seconds, but in football, I mean, I remember watching the game. What was it, last season or the season before? I think Liverpool was playing Tottenham, and I can't remember who gets sent off. Liverpool was getting to 10 men, and after all that, he gets sent off. It wasn't a penalty and it wasn't a red card. So I do not know wee small bits on VR because it just spoils the game for me.
I honestly believe that had it been brought in earlier, I think a lot of decisions that have been made this season would have got overturned.
Yep, I totally agree.
So, Josh, do you think it's a must-win game next week for Rangers at home to Liverpool?
Well, it's a must result. We have to get a result next week. I've got no doubt in my mind.
A point won't do, Josh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you talking about getting out of the group? Or are you talking about finishing Europa League?
No. I would say it's hard to get out of the group now, but the Europa League, that's only hope
getting out of the group is going to be nigh impossible. I think. I mean, realistically. Really realistically, we need to be looking at Europa League, and we need to be looking at we need to be looking at hoping Ajax lose their last 3 games, and that we take at least a point off of Napoli or Liverpool, and then beat Ajax. Realistically, that's what we can hope for. In my view, I don't think we're. I mean, after seeing Napoli go out and absolutely destroy Ajax 6-1 the night. Napoli will top the group. They will. I think Liverpool will lose to them. So we'll need to see. We'll need to see how things go. I think next week Liverpool are the lesser of the 2 games. So I think next week we probably need to get a point if we're going to finish. But see, to be honest, right? We've not even got a point. We've not even got a goal yet, right? So we can't finish this group an utter embarrassment of not even scoring a goal. You know what I mean? So we need to get the ball in the back of the net and see where that takes us. If we can go 1-0 up next week, let's just see how we go.
Josh,
is there any chance that Van Bronckhorst might be tempted to play Cholak and Morelos?
I think he's unlikely. Well, I don't know. I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, they put. They certainly come around in the Europa League run last season and put Lundstrom at centre back, and everyone thought, "What the hell is he doing?" And hey, it paid off. So I think, and that's what I was saying. I think Van Bronckhorst is a very tactically astute manager. So if he and Dave Voss see a legitimate reason to play 2 strikers, then they will. Do I see it? Probably not, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, stranger things could happen. So thanks to Josh, thanks to Graham, thanks to everybody watching tonight. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow night with the Celtic game, and on Thursday night with Graham's second or first best team, Hearts.
Come on, the Jumbo's.
Yep. and they're up against Florentina. So we'll be on tomorrow night, Thursday night, and Friday night, and Sunday night. So we're doing double time this week. I'm hoping for a big wage packet, but who knows? We'll see what happens. Okay, see you soon, guys.
It's Champions League time once again, and you can catch up with what's been happening in the games by tuning in to the Locker Room Specials